Just a few hundred feet from one of America's busiest beaches, something enormous glides silently beneath the waves. Swimmers never see it. Surfers rarely notice it. Yet every single year, more great white sharks are gathering along Southern California's coastline than scientists ever expected. The question isn't whether they're here. The real mystery is why. This is Southern California. Golden beaches, perfect waves. Millions of people are in the water every summer, completely unaware that just beneath their feet, one of the ocean's most feared predators has quietly moved in. For decades, scientists believed great white sharks belong somewhere else, far offshore, near seal colonies, in cold northern waters. Then everything changed. Researchers started counting sharks where no one expected to find them, in shallow water, a few dozen feet from the sand, in some of the most crowded beach towns on Earth. What you're about to see isn't a horror story, it's a detective story. Because to understand why the sharks came back, we have to go back to a time when they very nearly disappeared for good. Southern California doesn't look like shark country. It looks like a postcard. But underneath that postcard is exactly the kind of coastline a young shark needs to survive. Shallow water, warm currents, sandy bottoms full of stingrays and small fish, and crucially, almost no large predators waiting to eat a shark that hasn't grown into its power yet. For most of the 20th century, none of that mattered, because there weren't enough sharks left to use it. Overfishing and unregulated hunting pushed the population toward collapse. By the early 1990s, great white sharks along the California coast were in serious trouble. Then, in 1994, California made a decision that would quietly reshape the entire coastline decades later. Great white sharks became a protected species. No more targeted fishing. No more killing them for sport. Nobody realized it yet, but the recovery had already begun. Fast forward almost 30 years. Researchers at California State University Long Beach, led by shark scientist Chris Lowe, started noticing something strange near popular beaches. Not one shark, not five. Sometimes as many as 40 juvenile great whites gathered in a single stretch of shallow water, barely 50 feet from shore. They weren't hunting people. They weren't even hunting seals. They were hiding. Scientists now call these areas nurseries, and Southern California turned out to have several of them, stretching from Santa Barbara down through Los Angeles and all the way to San Diego and northern Baja, Mexico. Here's what shocked researchers most. Female great whites appear to return to the very same nursery grounds year after year to give birth. The pups are born fully independent with no parents, no protection, nothing but instinct. So they gather in these shallow, warm water hideouts where bigger sharks and orcas can't easily reach them. It's a shark daycare, hiding in plain sight at some of the most photographed beaches in America. But why these beaches and why now? Part of the answer is temperature. Juvenile great whites are unusual among sharks. They're partially warm-blooded, but as young pups, they aren't very good at regulating their own body heat yet. That means they need to stay in warm water or risk their systems slowing down. Southern California's coastal waters have been trending warmer, and marine heatwave events in recent years have pushed that warm water even further along the coast and later into the season. Researchers have tracked how these warm water spikes shift the shark's timeline, sometimes keeping juveniles near shore months longer than historical patterns would predict. Then scientists discovered something even stranger. In certain years, instead of migrating south to Mexico for winter as expected, some juvenile sharks simply stayed in California waters. The old migration rulebook was being rewritten in real time, and nobody had seen it happen this way before. Warm water alone doesn't explain a shark boom. Sharks go where the food is, and Southern California, it turns out, is serving a feast. Juvenile white sharks aren't hunting seals yet. Their prey is stingrays and small fish that live along the sandy seafloor, and those populations have exploded in the same shallow zones the sharks now call home. Add to that a recovering marine ecosystem, decades of environmental protections, slowly rebuilding fish stocks along the coast, and you have the perfect nursery buffet. Further offshore, adult great whites have an entirely different food source driving their comeback: seals and sea lions. Marine mammal protections passed in the 1970s allowed seal and sea lion colonies to rebound after being hunted to near collapse. More seals meant more food for adult sharks, which meant a healthier population capable of producing more pups that then filled up nursery beaches like the ones humans had been swimming at for generations. Follow the food, and you find the answer to almost every mystery in this story. For decades, nobody actually knew how many sharks were swimming past swimmers because nobody could see them. Sharks are famously hard to study. They don't sit still for a head count. Then came the drones. Wildlife photographers and researchers began flying camera drones low over the water, and what the footage revealed stunned even lifelong shark scientists. Sharks weren't rare occasional visitors. On any given summer day, dozens of juvenile great whites could be gliding within a few body lengths of swimmers, surfers, and paddleboarders who had absolutely no idea. One of the most prolific of these drone operators has spent years documenting sharks investigating swimmers up close, circling, inspecting, and then simply swimming away. Footage like this didn't just excite the internet, it rewrote the scientific understanding of how often sharks and humans already share the water without incident. The sharks were never new. What was new was our ability to finally see them. So what does a juvenile great white actually do all day at a Southern California beach? Mostly, it patrols. Juveniles at these nurseries are typically 3 to 4 years old, somewhere between 6 and 8 feet long, small compared to the 12 to 20-foot adults that stay far offshore. They spend their days cruising the shallows, feeding along the bottom, and growing at a rate of roughly a foot per year. They tend to avoid deeper water where bigger predators, including adult white sharks and orcas, might see them as prey rather than family. In a strange twist of nature, young great whites are safer close to crowded human beaches than they would be out in the open ocean. That single fact reframes everything. The sharks aren't invading our beaches. In many cases, our beaches are the safest place they know. Dot here quotes, where the story gets uncomfortable for a lot of people. If dozens of great whites are swimming near packed beaches, why isn't Southern California a war zone of shark attacks? The honest answer? Because juvenile great whites are not interested in humans as food. Their prey is on the seafloor stingrays and small fish, not floating bodies on the surface. Researchers tracking tagged sharks have found that these young sharks regularly swim near and even beneath unaware swimmers without incident. Lifeguards and researchers along the coast now work together, using drone patrols and tagging data to monitor shark activity in real time, especially during the warmer months when nurseries are busiest. It's an ongoing partnership between science and public safety, built entirely because drones finally let researchers see what had always been happening beneath the surface. Despite the rising shark numbers, unprovoked bites remain extraordinarily rare in California waters. You are still far more likely to be hurt driving to the beach than while swimming in it. That gap between perception and reality is one of the strangest parts of this entire story. The number of sharks near shore has risen dramatically over the last 2 decades. The number of serious incidents has not risen anywhere near proportionally. Something about how these young sharks behave around humans is fundamentally different from what movies and headlines have trained us to expect. Scientists believe part of the explanation lies in the shark's own senses, which are far more advanced than most people realize. A great white shark experiences the ocean in a way almost no other animal can. It can detect a single drop of blood diluted in enormous volumes of water. It can sense electrical fields generated by a heartbeat through specialized organs on its snout. It can feel vibrations in the water from movement hundreds of feet away, long before it ever sees a target. For juvenile sharks patrolling the seafloor, these senses are tuned to one thing: stingrays and fish hidden under sand, not upright human bodies splashing on the surface. Investigative approaches where a shark circles or brushes past a person appear to be curiosity or misidentification, not predatory attacks. In nearly every documented case, the shark simply moves on once it realizes what it's actually found. It, quote, as a predator perfectly built for its world. And humans, it turns out, were never really part of the menu. As the seasons turn, most juvenile sharks begin an incredible journey. Come late fall, they migrate hundreds of miles south to nursery waters near Baja California, Mexico, seeking warmer temperatures for the winter months. The following spring, some of those same individuals swim right back to the Southern California beaches where they started, in a cycle that can repeat for years before a shark finally grows large enough to leave nursery life behind and join the adult population offshore, near places like Monterey Bay and the Channel Islands. Every one of those young sharks is, in effect, commuting along one of the most heavily populated coastlines in the country twice a year, and almost nobody watching the waves ever notices. It quotes easy to frame more sharks as a threat. Scientists frame it differently, as proof that decades of environmental policy actually worked. Protecting great white sharks from fishing in the 1990s, protecting seals and sea lions from hunting decades earlier, cleaning up coastal waters, rebuilding fish populations. Each one of those policies, made separately over 50 years, quietly stacked on top of the others, and the result is an apex predator population slowly clawing its way back from the edge of collapse. The sharks patrolling Southern California's beaches today are, in a very real sense, a scoreboard. They're proof that when a species is given real protection and enough time, an ecosystem can heal itself. Researchers now face new questions few could have imagined 20 years ago. As ocean temperatures continue shifting and marine heat waves grow more frequent, will nursery grounds expand further north? Will young sharks start staying through entire winters instead of migrating? Will new nurseries form at beaches that have never seen one before? Nobody has a certain answer yet. Long-term tracking and tagging programs, along with growing drone surveillance, are the tools scientists are counting on to find out. Because understanding the coastline of tomorrow starts with understanding exactly what's happening beneath the waves today. Here is what almost everyone gets wrong about the great white sharks of Southern California. We assume their return means danger. Scientists have found the opposite. Their return means the ocean is healing. It means an ecosystem, nearly destroyed by a single century of human decisions, is being rebuilt by a handful of better ones. The sharks were never taking over the coastline. They were coming home to it. For millions of years before a single beach town existed, these waters were exactly what they are again today. A nursery, a hunting ground, a highway for one of the ocean's oldest and most misunderstood predators. We simply forgot that we were the guests. The greatest danger was never the shark itself. It was how little we understood it.